Okay, so we're live again. Again. We're so live that we can die from being alive. Can you die from being alive? Is that possible?
Depends what you mean.
Okay. Yes, we can. We can be alive and dead at the same time.
I don't know what you mean. Why would you be like? I don't see how those two things are connected.
Wait, what's the question?
How are those two things connected?
Two things? Being alive and dead at the same time?
That's one thing.
Being alive and dead at the same time is one thing? Anyway,
It's one statement.
anyway, can I teach you? Let's have a discussion about whether you want to or don't want to learn about entanglement. Well, do you care? Do you not care? Do you know anything?
Um,
What do you know about it?
it's
Like,
kind of like the thing about entanglement is something to do with some kind of particle, and it can have some relationship with another particle. And supposedly, when you do something to one of the particles that are paired together, whatever you do to the first particle somehow happens to the second particle. That's what I've heard, but I have no idea how that would happen or how that would work. It just sounds ridiculous. Like sounds like actual magic. So I don't know what's going on there, or what's connecting those two particles together. Yeah.
hmm so have you ever seen evidence for entanglement? Has anyone ever
I,
shown
I
you?
I know literally nothing about it. I'm extremely like I've never even looked for it. But
hmm So it's supposed to be the craziest thing in all of physics.
okay.
But no one has ever shown it to you. Isn't that Isn't that the weirdest thing in physics? I would say the weirdest thing.
Um.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's certain things are hard to show because they're involved in like the complex mathematics, or
But
they're
but
you know
hmm look if
or I just wasn't looking. You know what I
look
mean? Like it's
look if I come to you and I tell you, listen, I saw the weirdest thing, and then
mm,
you ask me, tell me about it, and I and I start making no sense as I speak, and you can't understand me. And I tell you, well, you see, when you say 1 plus 1 equals 2, and then you put pudding on top, and you add gray and white and a 200-pound bill, there you go. Isn't that the craziest thing? What would your response be to something like that?
I guess I would be like, okay,
Okay, so like physicists claim, like I can show you endless videos of physicists claiming, you want us the craziest thing in physics, the craziest thing in physics, you're not going to believe it, you're not going to believe it. and and you watch the video, and okay, I'm like, I mean, if they really had something really crazy, wouldn't they shout it off the building tops?
I didn't see them hiding it. Like I mean, they definitely published stuff about it.
They
Like
talk about it, but where is it? They talk about it all the time, but it's like the
mm,
emperor's new clothes. It's like everybody talks about it, but no one can see it. And if you can't understand it, apparently you're too dumb. It's literally the emperor's new clothes. Literally. If you don't understand how crazy it is, you're too dumb. So apparently
Okay.
Einstein didn't believe it. So he's too dumb. Did you know that? He was just too dumb.
I know. Okay.
And so, have you ever heard of Schrodinger?
Yeah.
Yeah, Schrodinger didn't believe it either. Schrodinger and Einstein, we have letters that they used to text each other. Then they used to make fun. They used to laugh at people that believe entanglement and superposition and the rest of the nonsense. Schrodinger came up with Schrodinger's cat to mock superposition, to mock the people that claim that when you don't know something, then it's when you don't know if a cat is dead or alive, then it's both dead and alive. Like,
Right, but that's not a rebuttal. Like an analogy is not a rebuttal of the
but
thing. You
okay,
know.
somebody believes a cat is both, when you don't know, when you're not looking inside the box, then the cat is both dead and alive. Well, how do you
Right. Well, those are two
what?
categorical opposites, right? Like, I
Okay,
mean,
but what do you, if
you know,
somebody tells you, I believe, this is what I believe, okay? Deal with me right now. I believe that if you have a box with a cat inside, you put a living cat inside a box, you close the box, you're not looking. Well, the cat is now in superposition of being both dead and alive. What do you say to that?
uh, well, how I understand life and death, and and cats and boxes and stuff, that doesn't make sense to me. It sounds ridiculous.
Okay, so this is all basically the entire physics community, basically without exception. This is the entire physics community without exception. This is what they teach in school. So Schrodinger, he said,
Right.
you know how I'm going to stop this madness? I'm going to come up with a thought experiment, and they will see how crazy they are. They're going to hear themselves saying crazy, and they're going to stop being crazy. So he came up with the thought experiment of the cat in the box. You heard of the thought experiment with the cat in the box? Like I
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
So he said, because these people, these physicists, these eminent physicists, they say that a quantum particle, as long as you don't measure it, then it's in a superposition. It's, for example, if you want to know if a particle has decayed or has not decayed, as long as you don't measure it, then it's in the superposition of being both decayed and not decayed. But that's only true for a quantum particle. You don't have to worry about it in real life, so they say. So far, so good?
Yeah.
So Schrodinger said, okay, but let's put a Geiger counter. A Geiger counter, it measures the decaying of particles.
Yes.
It has sensors. And for every decayed particle, it clicks. Now you can connect the Geiger counter
Hmm.
to a switch that, when instead of clicking, it turns on a switch. And the switch lets go of a hammer. And the hammer breaks a capsule. And the capsule has gas, like Cyclone B or something. And there's a cat in the box with the Cyclone B, with the poison vial. So when you close the box with the entire apparatus and you don't know what's going on, so what do you say? Is the cat right? You claim, you physicists, you claim that a particle can be in a superposition of being decayed and not decayed at the same time. But you
Right.
say that it doesn't affect macro objects. It doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect cats. It doesn't affect stars and galaxies. It only affects micro objects like quantum objects. Well, but if that's true, well, now we entangled the particle that's decayed or not decayed to the cat being alive or dead. So, what's the cat status? Is it alive or dead? That's the thought experiment. That's what he came up with in order to convince them that what they're saying is ludicrous. You cannot say that a particle, a quantum particle, is in a state of superposition. You cannot say that it's both decayed and not decayed at the same time. A particle is no different than a cat. You can't say that a cat is both alive and dead. Why would you say that a particle is in a superposition? Why would you say that? What do you gain from saying that? There's no gain from that. Why would you say that? And it doesn't make any sense because we entangle it with the cat.
Well, if they have a model, and that's, if their model is predicting, like, is getting better results, or is more closer to the results that they're getting,
Why?
then,
What? Fine.
you know,
That if even if that's true, that's not true. But even if it were to be true, so what? So your model, part of your model is that you allow for cats to be alive and dead. And by the way, it's not just a cat. Let's say you have a person inside the
hmm
box.
hmm okay,
Then the person is both alive and dead at the same time? What if you have a bunch
okay.
of people? Are they all dead and alive at the same time? What? That and why would you say that? I mean, but even first of all, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it completely contradicts everything we know about everything. That's the first problem. The second problem is, what do you gain from that? Where is the gain? You could say that as long as you don't know something about a system, about a particle or a bunch of particles, you could say as long as I don't know anything about a system, I have to treat it as if it's in a superposition. I have to treat, as long as I don't know if the cat is alive or dead, I have to treat it in a super as if it's in a superposition. Okay, I mean, in your mind, it's in a superposition. That's epistemological. So, epistemologically, you could say whatever you want, as long as you understand that you're talking epistemologically, that in your knowledge, in your description, in I- right, you want to you're skeptical if it's alive or dead. So you're saying, okay, I don't know, it's in a super, in my mind it's in a superposition. It's, I don't know, I can't say if it's alive or dead. I can't say. So I have to treat it the same for the particle. As long as I don't know, I have to treat it as if it's in a superposition. That's fine. But why would you say that it's in that reality is, right? Reality is ontological, and right, is that the term, ontological?
Yeah, yeah, I
I
guess.
don't know. Anyway, why would you say reality is in a superposition? It's fine to say that in your mind, in your analysis, in your mathematics, in your description, it's in a superposition. But of course, in reality, it can't be. It can't be in reality in a superposition. There's no such thing as a superposition. We've never we have no evidence for a superposition. We've never seen cats both dead and alive. And we can't even imagine what it would be like for a cat to be both dead and alive. We can't imagine a reality that is a superposition. So if you can't imagine it, why are you proposing it as reality? And Einstein and Schrodinger and other people on this camp, they were They didn't know how to deal with the rest of the community led by Bohr. That the rest of the community, they said, no, no, no. No, the reality is fuzzy. The reality is a superposition. The reality is like the reality is fuzzy. It's not that the reality is crisp and our knowledge is fuzzy. No, 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 no. The reality is fuzzy. And as much so these two camps, one led by Einstein and the other led by Bohr. So this war, as far as Einstein is concerned, like how do you convince people that what they're saying is nonsense? If somebody wants to say nonsense, you can't stop him. So Einstein couldn't stop Bohr in his camp. And guess who won? Are you there?
Between Einstein and
Yeah.
Bohr, like between who?
Who won?
I guess Einstein won.
So, what do you know? What do physicists believe? Is the cat both dead and alive or not?
Guess it depends on the physicist. But yeah, I mean, I imagine they use this quantum entanglement idea if that's more accurate to get better results with
Quantum
that,
entanglement is,
more closer
I'm talking
to.
about right now superposition. Quantum entanglement is a similar story. But right now we're talking about
Right,
superposition.
well, you brought it up. Right, that's why.
Why?
But you changed my. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about what you're talking about, right? Like you brought up quantum entanglement, and then you changed to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
superposition.
We're talking about right now.
I'm just saying that,
I'm
yeah,
starting
like,
from superposition.
okay.
So who do you think won? Bohr's camp or Einstein's camp? Einstein is
Uh,
Einstein is the realist one, the epistemological. He
oh,
said,
okay. Sorry, I got confused there for a
yeah,
second.
Einstein is the always the realist. Einstein was a realist. Einstein invented the refrigerator, the air conditioner, the laser beam. Einstein was he was a realist. He was alive,
Hmm.
He was a communist, but he was a realist. He knew to run away from Germany when it was time to run away. He didn't wait. So
I mean, he was able to run away from Germany, right? Like, I mean, a lot of
a lot of
people
people were
didn't
able.
have anywhere to run
A
to
lot of
necessarily.
people were able and didn't run
And
away. A lot of people said it's gonna be fine. They didn't see it. They didn't realize what we know today. Anyway, so Einstein was the realist one. He said, "Why do you say nonsense? It's okay to not know if the cat is alive or dead and consider both possibilities until you open the box and realize and then deal with reality. That's fine. But to say that the cat is alive and dead at the same time, that doesn't make any sense." That's Einstein and Schrodinger. On the other side, we had Bohr. Bohr said, no, 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 the cat is literally alive and dead at the same time. Who do you think won? And what does it mean to win? Like, if you asked an average physicist today, what answer do you think you'll get?
I guess they're probably okay with superposition. I don't know. I haven't looked at a survey or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, everybody's fine with superposition. Everybody believes in superposition. Everybody. That is what a quantum computer is. I mean, there's departments that teach quantum computing. Departments in universities that teach quantum computing based on superposition, based on a qubit that is both 0 and 1 at the same time. They're not joking. And
What is that, like fuzzy
I don't.
logic or something?
I
Like, what are they
don't
using
ask
there
me.
to?
Don't ask me. Don't. I'm the last one. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is literally the emperor's new clothes. And there's no way, if you think about it, there's no way you can convince the emperor or any one of his consultants that the emperor's new clothes is a hoax. Because if you tell them it's a hoax, you're threatening them. You're telling them, well, either you lied up until now, or you're exposed as being dumb to realize to see the clothes. So either way, why would you admit the truth that you can't see the emperor's new clothes? So everyone goes along.
I'm not quite understanding here. I mean,
What?
if there's a model that is given an accurate enough prediction in comparison to the classical alternative, like what's wrong with that? Like they're not saying it's necessarily literally
Yes, they
true.
are.
Just working with that
The
model,
model.
right?
There is no such
But
model.
then the model could have been
There's no.
changed, and they never would have created that
Do
model
you
in the first
think, as far as I know, there's no model, there's no reason to believe it. Einstein didn't believe it, and Einstein didn't have any
place. Right. Like quantum electrodynamics doesn't exist. I mean, surely that's a field of study, right?
quantum electrodynamics, as far as I know, is just
Well, quantum mechanics is the field, right? Like,
there's no. You can understand all of quantum mechanics and not believe superposition. I don't believe superposition.
sure,
There's no
yeah. I mean,
reason.
you don't have to believe it, but it's a basic kind of system to like get you an answer.
But the but all it says is if I don't know if a particle is is decayed or not decayed, then I'm going to consider both possibilities. That's that you can do all the calculations like that. You don't need to believe that the particle is both decayed and not decayed at the same time. You
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, but when you talk to physicists, they say no, no, no. It's both decayed and not decayed at the same time.
Okay.
And there's nothing.
They could be overcommitting to the model there, sure.
Look, the fact is, Einstein and Schrodinger had a lifelong dispute with Bohr and his camp. And at the end of the day, like when you talk to people, all they know is Einstein lost. But did Einstein lose? What does that mean, Einstein lost? Einstein lost just means that everybody today repeats Bohr's nonsense. Einstein didn't lose. There's no debate in which Einstein lost. There was no bet that Einstein lost. Now you could say now. Anyway, we can come to the prediction. There's one prediction that anyway. So that's superposition. So that's complete and utter nonsense, and that's the state of affairs right now. When you talk to a normal person off the street or a normal physicist, you're going to get the same nonsense. They're all going to tell you that superposition is real, that the cat is alive and dead at the same time. And you'd ask them, okay, what's your evidence? There's no evidence. But even before the evidence, what would it mean? I don't even know what it means. I can't imagine it. So what's the point of asking for evidence? Asking for evidence is already giving them too much credit. Let me ask you a question. Can 1 plus 1 equal 2 and not equal 2 at the same time?
At the same time, I don't think so.
I mean, can 1 plus 1 not equal 2? Is that even a possibility?
I mean, it depends on the context, but
Exactly. So
in
that's fine.
regular arithmetic,
Yes, you could say that one cloud plus another cloud is not two clouds. They combine into one big cloud. So that's 1 plus 1 not
yeah,
equal
yeah.
2. So you could argue that. But if you make a statement 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 1 plus 1 does not equal 2, okay, then
Yeah, I mean, one of those has to be true, right? They're a direct contradiction. Yeah.
I mean, if you one of them has so but at the end of the day, when you say the cat is alive and dead at the same time, isn't alive opposite dead? I mean, isn't that the direct contradiction? Isn't that like these are two categories that are incompatible? I don't know. I mean, if you say that a cat can be half dead, like as it's dying in its last breath, it's still alive and dead at the same. Okay, I can agree with that, but is the cat right now bouncing around playing, having a good time in the box? Or is it or is it not breathing and it's completely frozen? These are two categorically different. Or let's imagine that instead of a vial, a Cyclone B vial, there's a blender that turned on and turned it into soup, or burnt it into a crisp, or threw it into a black hole. It's like I don't know what to say. Like, is it inside a black hole or is it outside a black? I don't know what. Anyway, so when you talk to these people, it's hopeless. It's hopeless, and they.
I
Mhm.
mean, the issue here is that these people had a model, right? Let's say you have,
What model? What is the what?
classical
But
physics,
what is the?
well, just classical physics, like a Newtonian
Okay,
model,
okay,
right?
yeah. Hmm.
And they're applying that to particles in like the double slit experiment, and then they see this result that doesn't match what they expected would happen, right?
We look. We can talk about any double slit experiment, and you can say, look, there's a double slit experiment, and I don't understand it. And for now, I don't.
Yeah,
Like, humanity has always has things that we don't understand. There's always the next chapter in the evolution of science and physics that we don't yet understand.
yeah,
Okay, so what's the
exactly.
problem saying I don't understand the double slit experiment for now? I don't understand it. I've thought about it for a
But
hundred.
they need a model to, like, work with when they're
Fine,
doing calculations and things.
fine, that's fine. But that's not reality.
Then,
But don't.
but they didn't say it was reality. They just said there's a model that works with it.
Oh,
Whether who's saying it's whether who's saying it's reality, right?
are
Just some of
you
the
kidding?
physicists are saying that.
Are you kidding? There's all types of different realities. There's many interpretations to quantum mechanics. There's many,
Sure,
and they're all crazy. They're basically all crazy interpretations. All quantum mechanical interpretations, almost all of them, are Looney Tunes. They all believe, like you said, in
right,
some
right,
sort of magic, some weird, crazy. They all say,
right.
when you listen to interviews with theoretical physicists, they all say, and even experimentalist physicists, they all say the universe is weird. They all say this. They don't say our understanding, our current understanding is weird. Like, imagine the people of our ancients, our ancient uh, forefathers in science. They used to believe in a god because, the god of the gaps, because they couldn't figure things out. And they said, obviously, there's a god because how else did life begin? How else did humans get here? I mean, obviously there is a designer. There's a clock. Obviously somebody designed a clock. There's a human. Obviously somebody designed the human. They didn't have evolution, so of course they believed in a god. So, in every generation, our scientific forefathers, they always had questions without answers. And it was always easy to just say it's magic. It's always the easiest thing. Oh, well, obviously there's magic. Yeah, but obviously that's wrong, because today we know that no God was needed to create humans. No God is needed for the solar system. We basically we
Right, right.
hmm
But wait a
yeah.
minute, right? In the future,
Hmm.
we might change that position. We might turn around and go, actually, there is a God needed for
But
the universe or something like that, right? Like, I mean,
but
this understanding changes,
but no God is needed. I was very careful how I worded it.
like currently.
Right.
Like,
We don't need. They used
um,
to need a God to move the planets because they said
sure.
everything stops.
Hmm.
Nothing can move forever. So something must be moving the heavens, because everything is immersed
Right,
in this fluid, or what they said. Nothing, everything, you shoot an arrow and it finally it loses its energy and it stops. It's the you push something, it moves a little bit and then it stops. Things
Hmm.
always stop. There is a nature of things that they always want to stop. But the heavens never stop. Therefore, there must be a God. A God is needed to move the heavens. So their solar system model, their heavenly models needed a God, a mover. They
Okay.
called him the mover. They literally called him the mover. They-
Yeah, the unmoved mover. Yeah, yeah.
so so right, so that's our forefathers in science. But obviously, the no, what they should have said is, we don't know yet. We don't have a good theory to explain the heavenly bodies. And then Newton came along and he explained the heavenly bodies in a snap of a finger. Everything snapped into place instantaneously. And we no longer
Right,
needed.
but
Mhm.
like I agree with that. But then after that, then we saw that the Newtonian like calculations weren't accurate enough
But we didn't
to
nobody
describe
but
bodies
nobody
for them
said
to
there must
describe
be a
mechanics.
god that shifts Mercury's orbit around, that creates the Mercurian precession. Right? Nobody said that, but they could have said, well,
Sure. Okay.
we thought about it so much and we still don't know. Oh, must be a god. Must be a god who's precessing Mercury by one arc degree every 100 centuries or something crazy like that. Of course, we they could
Okay.
have said it, but that would be exactly what our current quantum physicists are saying. Instead of saying we don't understand the double slit experiment, okay, you don't understand. Yeah, a day will come, hopefully soon, hopefully the day's today, and somebody will come up with a theory to explain the double slit experiment. Just like Newton at the end
Right,
of
but
the.
wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like if they are doing that, right? That's what they're trying to do. The point of the superposition thing is that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to come up with a model.
No, no, they're
Like
not. No,
the
they're
issue.
not. No, they're not. They're saying
Uh,
they're saying this is it. This is the answer. This is the answer. This is reality.
right, well, that's what a model is. It's you saying this is the answer, right?
But
Like,
but
and
they say
then
reality
that's what
is
a model
but they
is.
say reality is the cat is alive and dead at the same time. They say this is it. This is the answer. This is it. This is it. This is the answer.
Okay,
We're done.
if that's the answer for them, I mean,
But
yeah, I
what
mean, if that's it, then that's it. Like you have a third one.
what I'm saying is this is the same as our ancestors saying it's God or it's ghosts or it's dead people. They always came up with paranormal explanations instead of just saying I don't know. Just say I don't know.
Wait a minute,
Mhm. Mhm.
like you're saying paranormal,
Mhm.
like they're just coming up with a model that describes the thing that's happening in the experiment,
When
right?
they
That
say
that that they're trying to describe the normal.
paranormal is
Like how are you defining paranormal?
paranormal is when they said it's God. That's paranormal.
But the quantum mechanics
The quantum
people aren't
mechanics,
saying it's God.
it's I'm saying it's along the same line of thinking, that instead of saying I don't know, let's keep thinking about it. They give up and they say some paranormal explanation. So instead of God, they're still saying the universe is magical.
When you're arguing about what is the normal, like I don't see how the theory is paranormal.
Paranormal,
Like
just that's another name for God. Or quantum physicists, they say the universe is weird, which is, in other words,
okay,
right? Some people say God acts in mysterious ways, like whenever, because many things happen that don't fit the God hypothesis. When good people die for no reason, then religious people, they say, well, God acts in mysterious ways because the data point doesn't fit the God theory. If you have a little baby that everything is fine, and then suddenly the little baby dies for no reason, but simultaneously you have an evil person who's doing just fine. Let's say the murderer. There's a baby and a murderer.
Hmm.
The murderer murdered the baby, and the murderer gets off scot free, but the baby is dead. The baby died in a gruesome way. So there's obviously
Yeah, there's
no,
gaps in your knowledge, right?
no, no. I mean, so the religious people, they're stuck with these cases of injustice because God is supposed to be just, and he's supposed to run the world, and he's supposed to be Superman. So how does God allow for a little baby to be butchered by an evil murderer? How does God allow this? So the data doesn't fit the theory that there is a God. So they come up with, oh yeah, they don't come up with, they just say, yeah, God acts in mysterious ways, God works in mysterious ways. Instead of saying, well, the data doesn't fit the theory, so let's reject the theory. Obviously, there's no God, and this universe is not run by a benevolent creature. This universe is not run by anyone. That is what the data suggests, but they don't want, they don't like it. They like they want to keep their God hypothesis. They're happy with the, with everything, with all the, with everything, with all the benefits. They're happy with all the benefits that the God hypothesis gives them. So they're willing to forego truth because of the benefits. So they say, okay, f truth. Well, who cares about truth? And the same goes for physicists, that they claim that that instead of believing in a God, and saying, instead of saying, well, God is causing the double slit experiment, they might as well say that. Because what they say is, well, the universe is weird. The universe is weird. What are they saying? They're not saying I don't understand, and as long as I don't understand, it seems weird. But many things used to seem weird to our scientific forefathers. Everything before you have a good theory is weird. There's many weird phenomenon before you come up with a theory to explain away the weirdness. It's weird when you don't have a good theory. So instead of admitting, well, we don't have a good theory, they don't like admitting it. It's like they're getting paid, right? These people are getting paid, so they can't allow themselves to say, for 100 years we've been thinking about it and we're getting nowhere, but keep paying our salary. It's like they can't admit to not knowing something. Something is causing them to be afraid to face the demon of admitting not knowing. They don't say we don't know and stop at that point. They say no.
Oh,
What?
I mean, they want to be able to explain the results that they're getting on the test and be able to like predict what's happening. And when they're using classical physics, they're not able to get accurate results, right? That's what they're saying.
No, it's fine. No, no, they're able to get good predictions because the double slit experiment, even though we cannot explain it, but we know very accurately how it behaves. So we can make very accurate. We've seen it be. We've seen that. We've run the double slit experiment enough times that we know already how to predict the weirdness. So even
Mm-hmm.
though like they would say the universe is weird, I would say I don't understand. It seems weird. I don't say reality is weird. I claim internally the 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 quantum particle knows exactly what it's doing, and it's not alive and dead at the same time, and it's not fuzzy, and it's mechanical, it's simple, it's extremely simple, but we just don't know exactly what it's doing at this point. We just don't know. Just like our forefathers in science didn't know Newton's gravitational universal law, and when he told them, everything snapped into place. But a day before he told them, it seemed really weird. Everything right, and so, but our modern scientists don't just say we don't know and keep silent. They don't do that. And the thing about superposition, like, why do you even need? Why do you even need superposition? Where does that come from? I mean, the double slit experiment, okay, but I don't think the double slit experiment has anything to do, like, the I don't know where superposition even comes from. I don't know where entanglement comes from. It's like you can explain away superposition. Like the fact that you don't know if a particle is decayed or not decayed, that's just lack of knowledge. Why do you have to come up with superposition that it's both? Why do you need to do that? What causes you to do that? Where does that come from? Where does this mental illness, infection come from? Why do you need to say that? And you can't even have a conversation with these people, because if you even start the conversations, they start attacking you. Just like, that's a true story of the emperor's new clothes. Like if the little child would have said, wait, but the emperor is naked, everybody around him would have told him, you're obviously dumb. You're obviously a dumb kid. I mean, you're obviously a low IQ, because everybody knows that if you have high IQ, you can see the emperor's new clothes, and if you are low IQ, only then you do not see the emperor's new clothes. So you're obviously low IQ. Go back to school and stop being so dumb. That's what they tell you. When you try to have a conversation about this, you get attacked. You can't have a conversation about it. This is like, the Arab Israeli conflict. You talk to people about Arab Israel, if they're anti-Semites, it's a dead end. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to just call
Sure.
you they're just going to call you a Jew. Well, obviously you're a Jew. Obviously, Vegan Gains is a Jew. Obviously,
Mm-hmm. He's being paid by he's a
he's,
Mossad
yeah,
agent,
whatever.
right?
I mean, you can't you can't talk to people, but the same goes. I mean, the same goes for vegans. If you talk to vegans about veganism, oh, obviously you just love steaks. That obviously you just love steaks. That's why you don't want to be a vegan, because you like the taste of flesh. Or if
Yeah.
you talk to, I mean, basically anyone, if you talk to flat earthers about how the earth is a globe, they call you a government shill. You're sponsored by government. Or if you believe in medicine, then you're sponsored by big pharma. It's like it's like people, it's like no one wants to have a conversation. No one wants to have a conversation about anything. It's like me and you right now talking, that doesn't exist in this universe. We are the exception to the exception to the power of the exception. It's like, and even me and you, if we talk about Elon Musk, we're going to get into a brawl.
Why would we get into a brawl about Elon Musk?
We did every time. Every time we talked about Elon Musk,
Every
you hate him and I love him. And then you start asking me questions. Why do I love him? Isn't he the worst thing since the beginning of the universe? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, when I try to have a normal conversation with actual physicists, it's basically impossible. First of all, you don't have access to them. They're working and they're doing their research, and their research is nonsense. I mean, they research and they spend so much money on this nonsense, on legit nonsense. Something that to me is obviously nonsense. When I started thinking about physics, I said, okay, from tomorrow morning, I'm going to start figuring out physics. The last thing I thought is going to happen is that I'm going to have an impossible time talking to people. I never would have thought in a million years I'm going to get into endless personal attacks just in trying to have a conversation about entanglement or superposition or a double slit or ether. Like, no, you cannot have a discussion with anyone about anything at this point. Impossible. People's brains have become impregnable. Impregnable?
Impregnable.
No, not impregnable. Impregnable. Like to not to impregnate, to
Yes, impregnable. Yes.
impregnable?
You mean impenetrable?
Impenetrable. Yeah, it cannot be penetrated. Yeah, impenetrable. Also
All right.
impregnable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you cannot go in, you cannot, people are stuck. It's like, when your computer used to lock up, it doesn't happen so much anymore. Or sometimes, apps lock up and
Hmm.
their brains lock up, but they don't just lock up. They start attacking you. They let you know, listen, you either walk in lockstep with the rest of us, or you're not, or there's not even an or else. Or we're coming after you. They call me racist and sexist and everything just because I don't even want to disagree with them. I just want to have a conversation. No, no, you cannot have a conversation. That will not happen. You cannot talk, and
Okay.
people are
Okay.
so,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I gotta go to
All
sleep,
right,
so
man.
I'll
I
chat to
Yeah, I
you again.
appreciate your time.
It was nice hearing your position on
Well, we
entanglement.
didn't talk about entanglement. That was superposition. Entanglement is very similar.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Superposition. Sorry. Yes.
superposition.
Superposition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk next time about entanglement. All right, I'll see
All
you
right.
later,
Bye
man.
bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay, let's just change the name and maybe cut the stream as a separate discussion about superposition. Um, Talking to Rover da Vinci about how superposition is a legit crazy position to hold, yet it is the most popular position in modern physics. Superposition is a crazy position to hold, yet it is the most popular position in modern physics. Question mark. Why? Why is superposition a crazy position to hold, yet it is the most popular position in modern physics? Why superposition? Why superposition is a crazy position to hold? No. Why superposition is a crazy theory? It's not even a theory. It's a crazy theory. Oh my god. It's a crazy theory, yet it is the most popular theory in modern physics. Okay. Save and let's cut the stream. See you later.